All right, well, good morning. I'm Jason. This is Rambling 4x4 Adventures. And I haven't recorded in a minute, but I got some changes I want to make to the truck setup, starting with the new Redarc Alpha 50R. So, just got this in the mail a few days ago, and I've already opened everything. But this little bitty device is going to replace all my Victron Energy stuff. So with the Victron Energy, this is the DC to DC charger, and then this over here is the solar controller. So I have two devices to do what this one little one will do. I'm also, because everything's crammed in here so tight, everything looks like a jumbled mess, so I want to clean up the wiring and everything too. There's a lot I want to do with the setup. I want to build this out further so I can have some compartments on this side. I'm going to remove the fuel tank and use a one of those roto packs instead up on its side, a little 2-gallon one that'll sit here. I'm going to extend this out, and then I'm going to put in a drawer system over on this side and take this big drawer out is the plan. But today what I want to do is get all this stuff removed and start getting the Redarc wired in. The big thing I'm going to do, which will be a little bit of a pain, but it'll look nicer, is I'm going to put in a hole in my roof and run these wires internally instead of outside, because I've had stickies on here. I got these from Shitco off of Instagram, which are great. So I have 4 of those if anybody's interested in buying those off of me. And then this stuff won't stick, keeps coming loose. So I'll show you what I got. Okay, so this device right here I got online. Let me open her up. So basically it's 2 pieces, and there's a grommet in there too if you need it. But if you look at it, this guy's 3D printed these where your 2 wires can run in. So I'll put this on the roof. It's got sticky type on one side. We've got some sealant. You drill the hole in, run the wires through, and then this is the cover, and then you'll use some of the sealant to go around the cover, and then the screws go in, and then your wires run through that, and it looks really clean. Right now it's not clean at all, and I don't like it. If I show you up here, I used some RV tape just to hold this down, but I'm going to take this bar off. And the only thing I would say is I wish I'd run the panel back like another 5 inches so I could put the puck just right there, because right here I'm not sure if it'll fit right there, so I may end up having to put it over on that side and run it down that way. It doesn't really matter. I have those panels inside the camper now, so that you won't see the wiring at all. Maybe just at the foot down here you might see it a little bit, but it should be fine. And then that will clean that up. So that's probably going to be the hardest part of the install. Okay, so this actually comes with this, which is a battery monitor that all your negative wires go through. So the negative will go to my house battery on one side, then all the loads will go on the other side. So that way anytime you turn something on, this thing knows where your batteries are at. So that's kind of cool. So it comes with that. And then here is a temperature sensor that you can put on the positive battery. And then this here is how this has that plug for the Cat 5 cable, I guess it is, that plugs into this guy somewhere. Where's that plug into? Oh yeah, so it goes, this has this little dongle, and this will hook here, and then that's how it talks to the battery monitor. So overall, I'm getting rid of some weight. The other things that are in here though, which I probably won't need anymore as far as I know, is down in here. This is a temperature sensor, and I have it hooked to a fan so it could blow air in here when it got too much heat in there. So, and then here's my battery sensor here on this one, so that's where I'll take this one out, and then I'll get rid of this guy. I won't need this anymore. So yeah, so I'm excited that that's going to work. The only hard thing I would say this whole setup is that I gave as little space as possible to put stuff in here, and so it's really jam-packed, and as long as everything's working, it's totally fine. This is my fuse panel, and then this will all my devices run in here, and then when this pops, if a fuse pops, it just lights up red, so you know exactly which one. So negatives go here, positives go here. Yeah, so that's that. So yeah, lots to do. And then the other big thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move my refrigerator over here. I'm going to take this seat out and put the fridge in here, because last summer it overworked itself and actually died, and I had to buy another one because the Go Fast don't have any ventilation in them for hot air. So that's a downside. So when these are closed and it's 100 degrees outside, you can imagine the heat inside this black camper. So that is going to be a remedy with I got some goose gear coming in for that, and then that's it. So that's what I'm going to work on, and I'll try to film as much as I can, just for you DIYers out there. Okay, one of the changes I'm going to make is the circuit breakers. I was using these. Ouch, just whacked my head. I was using these, a little 30 amp right here, and you can just go like that and it flips the breaker, which I like that. It's nice, but you can see right here that this isn't good. So this guy here is a waterproof circuit breaker, and you can bolt your device onto it, so, or the wires onto it. So I'm going to use that. And then this is a 70 amp because I'm using a 50 amp DC to DC charger, so I gotta have a little bit more juice here. So that's going to be one of my first changes. Another cool gadget I've purchased for this project is this wire crimper. What's cool about it is you can change out the teeth to any size wire gauge that you're using. So that's going to be really handy for this. So on this one here, I got to figure out which size will fit on here and fit the same wire. And you kind of want there to be as little play as possible in your, so that one there, I'm not sure that that's big enough. I'll have to do that one. See, that's going to be the size of my wire. I'm using 6-gauge wire for all this, so that should work good. So I'll do 2 of these. Okay. All right, so here's the finished product. Put the new connectors in, tighten it all down, and then I just used a piece of Velcro to hold it to the top of the battery. So that makes it real easy to turn that on and off. So that's good. So that goes from the battery, the car battery, to the DC charger. And then the other wire I have to run is going to be an ignition wire that will go from the DC charger to the little dongle that goes underneath this piece right here. I have another video showing that Nissan accessory, so you can run accessory devices to it. And so I need the ignition to connect to this area right here on the Redarc. And so that, I think that's probably the problem I have with the Victron Energy, is that it thinks that the car's turned off when it's on, and so it cycles on and off when it shouldn't, and there's no way to actually well, the way it was supposed to be hooked in with my lithiums and everything, there wasn't a way to do it. There might be an ignition wire there, I can't remember, so I'm talking out of my butt here. But anyway, so this one definitely has where you hook it right in, which is what I'm going to do. All right, so next step, I think the next step is I'm going to disconnect the solar controller and pull that piece out, tape up my wires because the panel is getting sun, tape up my wires, pull those back out, and then we'll drill the hole through the roof to get the wires run internally. So that's the next step. All right, so that's the solar controller, 30 amp, and That's hooked to it, and then I ran the wires out, and they should be coming down underneath here. Okay, now just gotta unhook some shit stuff here, and then that part's done. Just real quick, you can see how much space that was taking up right there, so that's opening up a lot of real estate right there, which is good. In comparison wise, just the solar controller, the Redarc, I mean, you can see the Redarc is so much smaller, and that's just one piece of it. So I'm so excited. And this is 50 amps. That's only a 25 amp DC to DC charger that I have in there. So this is going to be more than what I need. Be really good. And one cool thing that this one will do is you can set it to backfeed your car battery in case your battery dies. So you can use your house batteries, and it's a charge that'll charge for 15 minutes, so you can jump start your car without, if you're out stranded somewhere, which is really, really cool. Love that. All right, so the wires are free. Yeah, that's gonna look so much better not having those there. So I'm gonna take this off, open it up. Well, I gotta take this off too. I gotta open it up and see where the hole's gonna go. That's kind of the next step after I remove these two things. And then it's kind of one of those things where you only want to drill once, because you're gonna have a big hole in your roof. Now that hole in the puck that I'm putting up there is a lot bigger than what I need, so I'm not going to drill the hole that big. I'm only going to drill it big enough for the two wires to go through. I don't have any of those connectors that they use for solar panels on there, because I didn't really see a need for one, because that solar panel is not going to come off. The only thing I could think of is if I ever have the tent replaced and they take the top off, then I'll have to unhook the solar wires and pull them back out, but that's not that big a deal. Yeah, so I gotta take a break, and then I'll be back and we'll continue working. All right, funny thing happened was I was put on my microphone, I was doing all this good filming for you guys, and then realized I didn't run the wire from the receiver to the camera, so I was just using the normal GoPro microphone instead of what I thought I was doing. So my bad, sorry. Now I'm not going to use a microphone, and it's a little bit windy, but I'm going to go ahead and take off this beef bar here and pop up the camper and then see where I need to drill. I would like to in the next half hour or so have the wires running inside is what I would like to do. Okay, so we're inside, and I've never pulled this off before since I put it in. So. Sticks pretty good. The nice thing to know about this headliner is that this will stick to any Velcro wherever you put it. So, not a problem. All right, so you can see where it's darkened from my panel, in the light area is where I can drill. This is where I have that tape on the outside. So I could really put a little hole right there and have those wires come right down here. This was supposed to be up in there like that. This is to run the lights for inside the camper. So let me see if it'll fit right on this corner, and we'll just drill right there. And so this will be facing this way, so the wires can both feed right into it. So I think Now I'm gonna go check the inside. Looks good on the inside, so I'm gonna use this bigger bit. That should do it. Now I have a little alcohol swab I'm going to use to clean this really good. Good. And I'm going to put this just on this side of this sticky stuff here, so that way it'll make a good seal. That should be good. Now I got to go inside and pull the wires through. I don't know. I feel like there's more. Let's go see what's holding it up. Alright, so this is where it gets thicker. So I think what I'm going to do is pull the red one out and then feed all the black in, and then put the red one in behind it. That way. Alright, so now we have this rubber silicone sealant I'm going to put around the lid, and I'm going to screw the lid down. These screws might just be a little bit too long. I won't know until I get them in there. But I'm also going to put a little bit of sealant around the edge of this, just to seal that up good too. The downside is this honeycomb rooftop doesn't really grip screws, so I may have to run some little bolts through there and put a nut on the end of it. Let that set up, see how it does. Put a little bit more in here. When I did this on my Ursa Minor, it never leaked, so should be okay. Alright, this is what I'm left with. I'm going to have my wires feed right through here, and I'm going to use some of these guys to tie it down, and then I'm going to probably, I don't think I can enlarge that hole without taking all those wires out, which go to my lights and everything. So I think probably make another hole, and then it's going to feed down behind this molly panel down to my new stuff. So okay, so that way, that's my next step. You see why I waited on this, because it's kind of a pain in the butt to do, but I think the hole worked well, and I might throw some sealant up in the hole on the inside too, just to seal it really good. But let's worm it. Okay. All right, so I went and got longer bolts with some nylon nuts and put on there with some washers, and that makes that more secure on top. So I'm just going to cut off the excess of the bolts here, and then I'm going to go ahead and these wires pinned down, and then I think I'm going to take this apart and make a bigger hole so everything can go through the same hole. And I'm going to move this, so should be okay. All right, so here's the finished product on this part. Got everything run, the wires running through. Had to make the hole just a little bit bigger, so I did a hole right next to it. I'm gonna leave these a little bit longer, and then I got a little bit of length out of the diesel heater, so I don't know. What was happening is when it was laying right here, you end up laying on it, and then it couldn't sense the temperature inside the tent, and it would turn off, or it would just wouldn't run. And so I really wanted to run it and kind of mount it down here, but there's not enough cord for that to happen, so we're kind of stuck with it where it is. So all right, so the next step, I got my wires all over here. I'm gonna go ahead and pull out this guy and then start messing with all the wiring. So that'll be a lot of fun. So I'm not gonna film all that, but I will come back and show you once it's done. Well, as you can see, I got quite the mess here, but it's coming together. I did remove the plug from my refrigerator, which was over here, and I'm moving the fridge to the back seat. So the next thing I need to do is I need to run a wire for the fridge from the back seat into the negative and the positive, and then I need to run this ignition wire too. So I can kind of do both of those at the same time. Let me show you the back seat real quick. So you have one bolt here, which is a 14 millimeter. You have another bolt here, and then behind the seat you have two more. Oh, hang on, I don't know how to work the seat. There we go. You have two more, as you can see, right here and right over here. Both of those are 14 millimeter, and then the seat just comes right out. So that's the next step, just to finish that. Alright, so that opened up a lot of real estate, a lot of dog hair. And then I'm just going to put the bolts back in so I don't lose them in case I switch it up in 6 months. Alright, let me show you this. So this little air handler thing, basically it's just some little rubber things. It's going to allow ventilation in the car. Is going to allow me to put a small little hole in here in a grommet and be able to run it in here. And then my grommet actually fell off that I had right here, so I need to try to fix that. But this, my batteries are right on the other side of this. This is a truck bed, so I can just put a small little hole here, run my wires that I need for my fridge straight in there. I'll probably put it here so it's a straight shot, then I can just feed it right in. It's going to work really, really well. So you see that okay? All right, cool. All right, so the Redarc is up and running. Everything's showing good. Got no errors on the app. Charging from the car. When I turned it on, it was putting 44.7 amps or something like that into the car, from the car into it. So that's pretty sweet. That's going to keep it charged up fast. So it needs to charge so I can calibrate where it's at, and then it'll give me the percentage once it's done calibrating. I'm still not happy with my wiring. I need to take some time to sort out a better wiring system, but everything works for now. The solar's working, everything's installed, so I just need, when I start doing some other stuff in here, I'll get the wiring straightened out. But for now, that's going to be it. I'm going to sign off. I hope this was helpful in some way. Probably not, but anyway, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching. Bye.